The views expressed are not necessarily those of KSCJ and Powell Broadcasting Company. This program is not intended to replace the advice of doctors or other clinical providers. Consult with your practitioner to ensure the proper course of action for you.
Welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well on AM 1360, FM 94.9 KSCJ. This program is dedicated to your mental health wellness and brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency. Here's your host, Art Silva.
Good morning and welcome to When Things Aren't Going Well. This show is all about your mental wellness and how you can help yourself navigate the daily highway of life. Our show is brought to you by Family Services, a United Way partner agency serving the Siouxland community. Today, our topic is access to mental wellness care in Siouxland. And joining me today is Brenda Geisinger, COO, Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. And we have two special guests back. I'd like to welcome Jennifer Jackson, Executive Director of Heartland Counseling, and Amy Bohlke, Executive Director of Catholic Charities. Good morning, ladies, and welcome.
Good morning, Art.
Good to see you. Brenda, good morning.
Good morning.
You betcha. Well, our topic today is access to mental wellness care in Siouxland, of which we all play a role. Access to care was initially identified as a problem with the mental health system. So let me ask you this, before we get going into the topic, tell us a little about your agency and what you do. So we'll start with Amy.
Sure. Catholic Charities provides mental health services to anyone here in our community, both in Northwest Iowa. Once in a while, we have people who cross over from Nebraska or South Dakota, but primarily in Northwest Iowa. And that includes individuals, couples, kids. And then we also provide psychiatric services. We've been lucky enough to work with Dr. Nezrin Abuada. And so for any of our clients, they're able to work with her if they have any psychiatric needs as well.
Great. Jennifer.
Yeah. Well, I'm Jennifer Jackson, and I'm the director at Heartland, as Art said, and we serve a lot of counties in Nebraska. So we serve 11 counties across Nebraska and all of Siouxland. We provide outpatient mental health and substance use. We have IOP for substance use. We provide school.
Could you play IOP?
Yes. Sure, you bet. It's intensive outpatient program. And what that is when individuals are maybe struggling with substance use and they come to Heartland up to 10 hours a week for up to 3 months. Yeah. So we also provide community wraparound services. So we go into people's homes to support them. We take them to doctor's appointments, bring them to therapy, the grocery store, whatever they need to do to be successful in their own home. We also have 19 apartments that are scattered throughout South Sioux City and Sioux City for people that are homeless, and that's called permanent supported housing. That's supported by HUD. And we also have school-based programs in 7 school districts in Nebraska. So that is one thing that has really expanded this last year, and we are very proud of that program.
Well, you have, both ladies, you have a large geography to cover, I should say. I know, Amy, you work for the Diocese of Sioux City, and how far does the diocese go out?
So we cover about 24 counties. So we have offices in Spencer, Algona, Storm Lake, Carroll, and Fort Dodge, Iowa. We go all the way down to Boone, Iowa. So
great. That's
all over the place.
That's a big area to cover. Yeah. And Jennifer, you mentioned, 11 counties in Nebraska?
We do. So we cover, it's 10,000 square miles.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, you need an airplane.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's here all the way to Cherry County, which, if you're familiar with Valentine and going tubing, I know a lot of people go out there for vacation. So it's pretty far out. Yeah.
Well, let me ask you something. Okay, you think it's and Brenda, what do you do? I'm sorry.
Just a little side note. The Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we have residential programming for youth ages 5 to 18, and the children come and live with us for 3 to 6 months for psychiatric mental health services. And then we also have outpatient services at Indian Hills here in Sioux City, and we serve surrounding areas up to Spencer. People come down for that, or Storm Lake, Cherokee, Lamar's. provide, similar to Amy, the family counseling, individual, child, adult, and go from there.
Well, part of our residential treatment also involves having a school. So, Brenda, you're also a principal. But, we have the same problems that the school systems are. We work with the Sioux City schools and about schools in a 45-mile surrounding area to try to provide an alternative learning for children that are having difficulties at the middle to high school age. So asking you ladies all of that, do you think it's difficult to obtain mental health services in Siouxland?
No, it's pretty easy. Go ahead, Amy.
No, I was going to say, yes, I think it's easy if you know where to look. I think sometimes people, when they're in a crisis, don't always know where to go. But the good thing is that we have Google and on the internet, and I think there's plenty of places out there that definitely are willing to help.
For sure. Yeah.
I'm Art Silva, and with me today are my guests, Amy Bolke, Jennifer Jackson, and Brenda Geisinger. And we're talking about access to mental wellness care in Siouxland. So let's continue our discussions. What improvements have you seen over the past year in terms of gaining access to services, mental health services? Amy, Brenda, Jennifer?
I think one of the big things that's been a benefit, as few as they may be with COVID, is the access through telehealth. That's made access a lot easier for people. I think the other thing that has really been significant is the awareness. People are aware, I need help, and beginning that process of getting help. Those are two huge things that have happened in the last couple of years.
I remember the last time we met, Jennifer, I was impressed with how far you reach out with telehealth.
Yes.
With the geography you have to deal with in Nebraska.
Right. And so it's really been a blessing because even we have been allowed to even do telehealth with our community-based staff. Great. So let's say we have somebody that is in Hartington, Nebraska, and, they are sick and they're not feeling well, or they've been exposed to COVID and now they have to isolate. Well, we can still meet with them through telehealth to check in with them, making sure that they're getting their needs met. And if they do need groceries, maybe we can order them, online and have them delivered. So that has been a real benefit to us, even not only in therapy, but again, the wraparound services that we do in the community.
Amy?
Yeah, I would absolutely agree with what Brenda said. And I think the same with psychiatric services. We've been able to do that. We know that there's such a shortage of psychiatrists. And so our clients who are over in Fort Dodge are able to access those services. But I think the other door with telehealth that's opened up, we were, I think, all scurrying when COVID initially hit to get that set up for our clients. I think now what's happened is we're able to use it. We work with a lot of people in rural areas, that it's not just for, so to speak, if you're concerned about COVID or things like that, but just the reality of living in rural Iowa or having transportation issues or not having access in a small town, you can now receive mental health services. And I think that is one of the things that's really improved over the last year or two.
I totally agree because it used to be even for, let's say, somebody that lives in Bancroft, they really have been recommended to attend our IOP, which is the Intensive Outpatient Program for Substance Use. But in the past, we would kind of alter that and try to figure out to meet their needs. Well, really their needs was IOP. Well, now they can attend IOP virtually. And so we do have a couple of folks that are pretty far out, maybe an hour away, and now they can attend. So it really has been a blessing.
That is so important. In the rural area, it's easy to forget when you're in the city and a little more urban environment. But the folks in a rural area taking a problem, and then you compound it by the geography and the location, right, and really no help. So I'm really pleased to see the federal government getting behind this bandwidth to push this signal out there so we can get to those folks and give them the great services that are offered in town in a rural area. And it addresses the transportation and all those other things that come into play that keep people from getting services.
Right.
So it's really refreshing to hear you folks say that, because that's always been a problem, or someone had to travel and then that their appointment was dependent upon their ride, so, and some of the gas and the money. We get it. So that's wonderful news that we were able to make a better impact in our rural area. Hey, we're coming up on our break right now. Don't change that dial. Continue your morning chill. We'll be right back with more of When Things Aren't Going Well, right here on 1360 94.9 KSCJ.
Let's face it, that happens to all of us. However, the pandemic has compounded all of our lives and activities. Even the simplest tasks seem harder. Hi, I'm Brenda Geisinger, the Chief Operating Officer at the Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Family Services is a United Way partner agency serving children and families of our community, and we're here to help. If you'd like to learn more about Family Services, please contact us via email, website, Facebook, or phone Mary Pickens. At Family Services, we change lives.
Welcome back to When Things Aren't Going Well on KSCJ. Here's Art Silva.
Welcome back. I'm Art Silva, and our guests today are Jennifer Jackson from Heartland Counseling and Amy Block from Catholic Charities and Brenda Geisinger for Boys and Girls Home and Family Services. Now, I got to apologize. I introduced Amy as Amy Bolke. I must have an Amy Bolke in my mind somewhere, or Amy Block has an alias. So she does now, but I'm very sorry for that. Amy Block, Catholic Charities.
Well, you blew my cover now.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, let's welcome back to our show and continue our discussion. We talked about some of the positive things that have happened in the mental wellness arena. Let's talk about some of the things that really upset us, our staff, that we try to deal with. And they're pretty quiet in the community, but they're so telling. And I'm going to turn that over to Jennifer. Would you like to talk about this?
Sure. One thing that we have really been addressing over the past couple months is suicide. And it's a hard topic to discuss. I mean, those of us that have been in the field, even for over 20 years, it's hard. And so I understand that it's something difficult, but we really need to talk about it. We have seen a significant increase in people, that have killed themselves. And yes, that's even hard to say, but it's something that we really need to address in our community.
Amy?
There's been a lot of data that's come out recently in the past year about the increase of suicide, specifically in young people. And that's not just national data, that's local data. That's here in Iowa, in Nebraska. When we talk about young people, we're talking ages 6 to 12 and with our teens. And it's the impact of COVID. And when we talk about the impact of COVID, I think sometimes well, how is that impacting our kids? It's the stress they're feeling from not having predictability in their lives, from having lost loved ones, from the stress, the impact they're seeing on their parents, on their families, underlying mental health issues that haven't been able to be addressed at different times. And so all of that with kids who maybe don't have those coping skills, whose brains aren't developed to be able to manage all of those things, it's a lot of different things. And so we're seeing that. And when we don't talk about suicide as adults, as parents, when we don't have those words, when we're scared to say, Brenda, are you having thoughts of wanting to kill yourself? That can lead kids to have no other alternatives. And so that's why we thought it was a really important topic to bring up and talk about here today.
I'm glad you did. I think when we leave things unsaid, I think we're really not serving the public best. It's not good news, but our whole intent here is to get people out in front of it. Look at the symptoms, know that there is help there, and know that if we pay attention, we can help this. So I'm glad we attack it. I don't think it's something you tiptoe around. No. I think you hit it right in the face and say, we want to help, and if you're feeling this way, come talk to us. If you see something, you're not alone. Nobody out there is alone. And I think it's very important to feel that. I felt that when you were talking about the rural area. How desolate that must be, and you have no company. The kids not being in school.
Right.
That was critical. The social development stuff from COVID, pulling the kids out, that's their network.
Right. Relationships have changed. I mean, if you think about it, and over the last year, there's been such, I would say, a significant increase in social media use as well. So that also has a big part in this. But if you think about just basic relationships have changed so much in the past 10 years. We text rather than call. We don't send the letters. All goes back to human relationships and how we support each other. And we all need at least one person. So, if you don't have that one person, please, find that person, reach out again. And if you don't feel comfortable, reach out to somebody in the mental health field, seek that help. Everybody needs somebody. We really do.
I like that. Everybody needs somebody.
Yes.
That is the truth, and we're not alone, and we are our brother's keepers. So I really worry about with the kids. We see it, and then I worry about the copycat effect with kids, and then the ripple effect with kids. How they respond to it. Brenda, anything you want to add to that?
I think the other piece is sometimes, I have to look for symptoms, but it's more just acknowledging if your friend is just off and having an honest conversation with them. Is there something troubling you? You just don't seem like yourself, and being willing to listen and be there for them. People may not even realize how much a person is struggling because they just always seem to be managing or coping. And on the inside, they are just tearing apart. And when someone is off, and you just have to be willing to ask that question and listen.
Well, I think it's something we can really, suicides, when I looked into this last year, there was a problem tracking them because of the death notices. They're late in what they put on a death notice as the cause of death. And then when all that gets rolled up, you're really running behind in the numbers. But when it happens locally and the people, and it's usually when I go to the newspaper, I'll see nothing explained, but it was a young age. And your first thing you go to is the worst thing. It's, oh, my God, don't tell me we lost another kid. I wish we could make a war on that. I know suicide's been around problem of suicide's been around for a long time. I know people say some people that want to take their life are going to do it. But when you got to have one, I love that. You got to have one person. Who's your one? Yeah. And I think that'd be a great question everybody could ask themselves. Who's the one you'd go to? If you're getting to that point, you notice it more when you go to your doctor's office. You get those questions and the screening questions as you come in. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about ill thoughts about harming yourself? It's a pandemic. And I just saw somewhere along the line where the national medical service declared mental wellness a national problem.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, ladies and gentlemen out there, we've got some great experts here, but we have a problem brewing, a problem that's been there, but a problem that's been compounded by going into the third year of a pandemic, how it's affected us. As Jennifer pointed out, relationships have changed and have been changing. Right. So where do we go now?
Wow, that's a big question.
And that's a big one.
We're all looking at each other.
That's right.
I think where we go is, I think what Brenda talked about earlier was the good news is there's more awareness out there that people are talking about mental wellness, mental health. More people are accessing mental health care. And by having the conversation, we can make a difference. And I think that is the good news. The more we have conversations like this, like we're doing today, hopefully one family, one friend is going to have that conversation. And that's really, I think, where it starts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think if anything good has come out of the last couple years, it goes back to breaking down that stigma and us talking about it on a more regular basis and starting with young kids, right? That this is the normal discussion. So the younger we can start, the better.
That's great. Ladies, it's been wonderful. We're coming up on the end of our show, and every week we want to end our show with a joke. Humor is medicine for the soul.
Yes, it is.
So now that it's tax time, I thought, the filers are coming out. That's all. Get ready for taxes. Anyhow, according to an unofficial sources, a new simplified income tax form contains only 4 lines. 1, what was your income for the year? 2, what were your expenses? 3, how much you have left? 4, send it in. I want to thank you so much, Jennifer, Amy, Brenda, for sharing your expertise, and thanks to our listening audience. We're always looking to add to our family, so if you're looking for a career change or to start a new career, please call Barb Nielsen, our HR manager, at 293-4700. Sign up for yoga at Breathe. Classes start mid-January. Call Mary Pickens, 293-4900 for more information. Free will donation special to acquaint you with our new studio. A shout-out to all mental health workers in Siouxland. Thanks for the important work that you do. When things aren't going well, we'll be back next Saturday morning at 7 right here on 1360 AM, 94.9 FM KSCJ. And our topic will be the best-kept secret in Siouxland, stuff. Your homework this week is to go out and have a good laugh. May the sun shine on you. Peace.
Happy trails to you until we meet again. Happy trails to you. Keep smiling until then. Happy trails to you till we meet again.
For more information on the services provided by Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, see them online at boysandgirlshomeiowa.org. Or you can call 712-293-4700 to get more information about family services, residential treatment, the Opportunity School, the Siouxland Family Center, and more. At Boys and Girls Home and Family Services, we change lives. We change lives. We change lives.